Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today, I'm going to continue off of last week's episode, which was Things Don't Have to Be So Hard. And I'm calling this one What If? Because we have to really think about what if we are to do nothing about a situation, about something that we're working on. What if we've already put in the time to make it as good as we can make it? And by continuing, it gives you a feeling of satisfaction. It may give you a feeling that you're even working toward it. But I think that feeling is a feeling of control. Sometimes the best approach is to do nothing. And surprisingly, when you reach that point and you're obedient to that and you do nothing, it works in your favor. That phone call you've been waiting for, instead of you making it, if you just wait and be obedient, because it's so much more fulfilling when things come to you. Yes, you need to do all that you can do in a certain situation, regardless if it's for work or friendship, romantic relationships, whatever it is that's important to us in life. But again, sometimes doing nothing is the answer. And that's a discernment you need to make if the situation that you're working on has come to that place. But also be aware if you're feeling like you need to take control, because you don't want a situation to turn into one that you feel control is the answer. Because there does come a point when you need to do nothing, when you need to wait. It's almost like when you plant a flower seed. You plant it, you water it, and then you wait. You're not going to make that flower grow any quicker by staring at it, by going out every day and checking it. It's going to come to fruition when it is time, when it is ready. And we need to understand that life kind of works the same way. I know when you take control of a situation, sometimes you feel like you're making it better, that you're bringing it closer to you. But have you ever taken control of a situation and then you wish you hadn't? Or something ever kept you from taking control, and then you sit back and you watch that it worked out anyway? I think it was the last episode I shared with you about a video that I saw regarding healing. And it was actually the first time I'd seen anything like this. And it said, the only thing that you're supposed to do is nothing. And I know I've spoken to you in the past about your body heals when you're relaxed, when you're calm, when you are not putting any stress on it that you need to do this, you need to do that. When you eliminate the stress, then your body starts to heal. Your tissues, your bones, your cells. And I listened to this video, I think it was last week, I'm not sure. And they said, your job is to do nothing. And I thought, wow, it was a confirmation of what I was feeling, that my job is to relax, de-stress. Now, there's certain goals that I have in my life that I'm working on. And yes, I need to do my part. But the big picture is, once I do that, then all the excess stress you put on yourself is really unnecessary, especially when we're trying to seek a healing either physically or mentally. And this is not to be confused with our responsibilities, especially with our responsibilities for taking care of others. I mean, those are things that you need to do. There's a difference between doing too much, trying to control a situation, putting excess stress on yourself, and doing what you need to do just to function in life, just to get ahead, just to keep things on course. And that's something you need to figure out, because we all have different situations going on. We all have different goals. And we need to figure out when we have done everything that we can do, and when doing more is not only adding unnecessary stress, but it's our way of taking control. You need to make that discernment about what is considered taking control. And I mean control in a negative way. By being controlling, we think we're going to make something better or make it come to us faster. But no, sometimes your part is to do nothing. And it's so interesting, this nothing is like such a concept. It was a new concept to me because I was used to doing, going. And to do nothing was like, wow. It was almost as foreign to me as I shared with you. It's been a while about laying in bed, and I've worked on it so hard that chitter chatter finally stopped. And when it did stop, I was laying in bed thinking, wow, I'm not thinking about anything. And that felt very foreign to me. I think we're so used to either being stressed, doing, going, chitter chatter, that when we stop it, which is a much, much healthier way to be, but when we do stop it, it is foreign. A while back, I had a girl stay with me. She was an alcoholic. And I tried my best. I tried to wake up every morning with a smile and make her feel happy. I just tried to really give her a normal life. But the normal life was too foreign to her. She kept stirring the pot. She kept making drama because she was used to living in a drama-filled life. And I think regardless of what it is, when we let go, at first it feels foreign to us. But with that being said, we got to realize what's a healthy change, what's healthy and what isn't, even if it does take time to get comfortable in it. And I want to talk to you about stirring that pot. I'm going to jump forward for a minute. A friend and myself were both going through a similar situation at the same time. And so we talked literally every day, helping each other through it. And we both did come through it on the other side. And it's over. It's done. It's the old chapter in our lives. However, every once in a while when we're talking, we'll start going in that direction. And then we'll start talking about it. And that is stirring the pot. That chapter is over. I mentioned to you last week about a video I saw that says, why bring the struggles with you from a story that's already ended? And when her and I talk about that stuff, I got to tell you, I hang up and I do not feel good. It's over. It's ended. And we need to really honor that. We need to embrace when something is over so we can move on and make room for the new chapter in our life. I noticed recently I was getting a lot of stomach aches, but I was also scrolling on social media a lot. However, there would be little sound bites from different podcasts about things that were happening in politics, whether I was looking for it or not. And I realized that was giving me a stomach ache. So we have to be very careful of what resonates with us in a healthy way and what doesn't. You really need to look at your body's reaction to the people that you're engaging with, to the conversations that you're engaging with. And what I've done, or what I'm experimenting with even to this point, is when I start to get that stomach ache, I clear out my head, because I figure the stress is first and foremost in my head. And then it's relating to my stomach, giving me a stomach ache. So regardless of what I'm hearing or seeing, because as I said, I'm not looking for it, but in life, there's certain things we just can't avoid. They're all around us. So rather than letting my head go to a negative place and then transferring that negativity to my stomach, I am trying to keep my head clear, trying to keep it free from judgment and just not taking in what I'm seeing. Now, I will tell you that it has helped. It has helped a lot. I would say 75%. But I will continue to work on it. And hopefully it'll hit 100%. But we are in this world, and we do need to figure out ways to navigate situations and people and conversations. And sometimes they're avoidable if we make our minds and our bodies where we can hear it, but hear it without judgment, without taking it in. Then we can survive without what that negative situation is trying to bring to you. Because social media, just like life, there's a lot of fun, wonderful, funny things, but you also tend to get broadsided with some negative issues as well. And that's pretty much how life is. So we need to learn to navigate through that without letting the negativity in whatever direction it's coming from take us down. We need to let it bounce off of us so you aren't carrying it. I think that is a big part of absolute health and happiness, because if you can eliminate taking in the negativity, taking in the emotions and the reactions that come from it, then your body will be in a constant state of healing. And obviously, by eliminating the stress that comes with negative situations, would bring more happiness. So it's kind of a win-win to learn when to do nothing, to learn when to not take control. Keeping your mind clear, keeping it free from judgment. Those are all recipes for walking in this world a little bit lighter, and they're recipes for health and happiness. Because I personally am convinced that our bodies heal when we eliminate the stress. And yes, stress is all around us, but there are ways to redirect it so it's not affecting us. You know, it's funny that when you are doing nothing, sometimes it can almost be a boring feeling. And it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, that it's not a normal feeling to do nothing, to let life unfold the way that it's supposed to. But it is part of being the best version of yourself, living your best life. What might feel foreign at first could end up being the best way you've ever lived, a way that has seemed foreign to you, and probably will at first. But to live stress-free and not take control, do what you need to do, be responsible, but don't exceed that. You don't need to. Sometimes waiting is the hardest thing, but as you will see that it pays off, as you will see that things come to you in the right time, it'll get easier and easier until it becomes your way of life. You know, I mentioned before that we learn lessons from situations that happen to us personally. So I've learned a lot about what I just mentioned because I was unable to go, do because of my health. Because I was a person that didn't sit still for 5 minutes. And it's funny because now I have a friend that'll say, "Oh, you have so much patience." And I'll mention her something that happened that I had no control over, and she brings up that, "You have so much patience." And I say, it's not that I have patience, it's that I have no choice. And so, again, how I mentioned that every cloud has a silver lining, this is kind of what it boils down to. For me, it was my health that made me sit still, made me wait for life to unfold. So whatever it is, whatever walk you're doing, don't wait like me and learn it screaming and kicking. Just practice it and do it. And I guarantee you will feel so much better when you just let life unfold, when you don't feel the need to take control, when you don't judge a situation, when you can hear whatever is out there and we hear it without judgment. We don't let it affect us. You got to know who you are. You got to know what your boundaries are, what your morals are, and the rest you have no control over. I would always take in so much about what is going on in this world. And I would say I'm a humanitarian. I do care when people are not treated fairly. However, it has also become very clear to me that I have no control. So long as I know that I wouldn't do that, that is all that matters. I really wish everybody well, but you can only do what you can do, and you got to be grateful that you're not that type of person. But unfortunately, things do go on, and we need to view it without judgment. I understand we have compassion, but try not to internalize it too much, and just be responsible for who you are, the kind of person that you are. That's what matters. And if we could spread that, if that would keep spreading throughout the world, that we are all responsible for who we are, and we want to make this a better place, that we have morals, that we are all humanitarians, what a much better place this would be. But remember, it starts with us. And then hopefully we'll set examples for anyone who's around us. With that being said, I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.